take a look at Rage 2, which I've just finished. When I picked up this game, two things really appealed to me. The first is that ID Software worked on it in Avalanche. ID Software, who worked on the acclaimed Doom, Avalanche, who did the Just Cause series, and the most recent underappreciated Mad Max. But knowing this, I thought that I was going to go into this game, it was going to be an amazing ride, it was going to be fantastic. Unfortunately, the strongest point of this game would have to be the combat, and this is definitely ID Software work. The moment you picked up the gun, you looked at it, and you're like, yes, this is going to be great. And it does feel great. The controls are very tight, the powers are cool. As you play the game, you're going to have to unlock the powers and guns in the world by searching out the arcs, and the guns themselves were quite decent. However, I found myself using the shotgun and the assault rifle a lot more than any other guns in the game. Occasionally I'll use the rockets and the charge cannon, but the only problem I had was with the melee of the game, especially when it comes to meleeing the boxes in the game. I just didn't want to use ammo, but I think it's because the hitbox range is a little bit small. So yes, the combat in this game is the best part about this game. Moving on to everything else, it was pretty much mediocre. The story of the game revolves around 30 years after the first Rage. The world itself was destroyed by an asteroid, and things have been repopulated. You'll see swamps now and jungles, or most of humanity has already been wiped out. Now, a faction called the Authority wants to take over. At the same time out there are mutants and other bandits that wants to fight over power. You play as a character named Walker, who you can pick as male or female at the start of the game, and pretty much your goal is to help to initiate a project called Dagger to stop the Authority leader, whose name is General Cross, and that's the premise of the entire game. You have to stop him, so you're doing all these quests, destroying bandits area, roadblocks, and so on, mutants. So you're pretty much leveling up, and you're trying to get stronger to beat the bad guy. That's pretty much the game. It's a no-brainer there. There's nothing complex about it. So you're going through the world, you're kicking ass. A lot of the character developments, you'll meet other characters who give you all these quests. They're like, hey, I had a farm here, it's being taken over by mutants, hey, there's bounty there. You go kill stuff, you kick ass. The game really didn't invest me as a player into the world itself. There was just so many opportunities to create some great characters and get you really invested in the world, maybe some memorable ones, but unfortunately that kind of just fell through. So after a while of listening to dialogues, I just kind of skipped them, to be honest with you. I just didn't want to hear what they had to say. I just want to beat the game. They were like, oh yeah, I got this house mutant, I don't care, I got you, I'm gonna go kill him. So that's pretty much my playthrough of the entire game. It's just afterwards, it's just whatever, man. I'll go kill your mutants, I'll go kick your bandits ass, I'll be right back, you take care, just make sure you pay me when I get back. Moving on to the open world, the game itself does remind me of Mad Max, especially in terms of driving. The controls are not so tight, but the vehicle update is more robust in this game than Rage 1. And not only that, you can only upgrade one vehicle in this game, and that's the main vehicle you drive. After upgrading it for a while, if you want other vehicles in the game, you have to actually drive them back to the town, which is also a chore. So eventually what's happened is I leveled up so much with a faction, they gave me this gyrocopter vehicle, and pretty much I stopped using the vehicles on the ground because there's no point. The only time you use it is to destroy convoys, maybe to do some racing, and that's pretty much it. You can attack a base with it, but you can't drive into a base because a lot of it bars vehicle from entry. So your main vehicle becomes obsolete later on if you want to travel quick. I used the gyrocopter throughout the entire game just to get to places quicker, to kill and kick more ass, and that's pretty much my goal the entire time with the gyrocopter. It's pretty fun though, and you see a lot of great places in this game. I mean, they had biomes in the game now. There's jungles, I've seen swamp areas, and of course there's a big open dune area, but that's pretty much it. Because of the asteroid, I'm guessing, the world is still pretty barren. There's birds in places, and I've seen some dog-like creatures with bandits, but day and night cycle, and aside from that, it's pretty barren and empty. I was surprised they use a copy and paste from many open world game out there, where you just do a couple quests here and there, but they didn't really add random events or whatnot to the game, which is kind of sad because I was hoping they add more zest and flair to the game, maybe make the world a bit more alive after 30 years. Nope, it's pretty barren still, so it got boring after a while. You'll see mutants and authority figures or bandits fighting mutants out in the wild. You can stop and fight them too, but there was absolutely no point because the amount of upgrade materials you can get, you get better from the quests themselves in the area, which becomes a chore later on in the game. The quest itself, you destroy blockade, you take out mutants, you might explore these little places like bandit camps, you take out the bandits, and it's just pretty much all shooting wholesome fun. You explore these places, and then later on, if you want to get the most out of it, you want to find these data pads or these crates, and when you find them for the camp or area, you find all of them, you pretty much get the full reward for the area. Now, these are a pain to find because you'll spend like, what, 15 or 10 minutes to find them. Eventually, you'll get this little radar tracking thing from one of your perks, and you can find them easily, but still, it's still a pain to look for them, and that's pretty much your entire gameplay. To be honest with you, everything was fun and dandy at the start, but then actually, after a while, it just became a drag, a chore to level up, find all your rewards, to get as much benefit as you can, and prepare for the final battle. And that's another thing that really kind of upset me. I play the game on the hardest difficulty, Nightmare, and the last boss itself was such a disappointment for me. And it's just because I worked up so much upgrades and all that just to face a boss that was pretty mediocre because the game is separated by levels. There are certain camps that will be level 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 10, and so on. Some of the places or some of the events in the game that are labeled from level 6 and up are really hard, but other than that, if you go back to a place that's like level 1 to 5, the difficulty is easy. Like, you'll just run through it, blast things in the face with a shotgun, and pretty much kill easily. So the difficulty doesn't scale too well. And the end boss was just super easy. With all that being said, I give Rage 2, my personal opinion, a 7 out of 10. At least that score is decent. Most people think an 8 out of 10 is a good game, so we're gonna go with the 7 out of 10. If you're a person who just likes to blow things up or shoot and gore up and gib enemies, then this is probably the type of game for you. There's not too much thinking involved. You just pull the trigger, kill everything, move on to your next spot, get on with your life. This is the type of game that this is, and a lot of people like that. But for those of you who are looking for a game with more story development and a world you can invest in, then this is probably not the game for you. If you're looking for new stuff, you won't see it here, unfortunately. So you might as well spend your $60 and go with some of the old open world game out there. That's my review on Rage 2. Thank you for watching, guys, and remember to hit subscribe and game on.